Hi, Assalamualaikum and good morning everyone. Today I would like to present Chapter 4, Research Methodology and Chapter 5, Research Finding for our study. So, here I will begin the Chapter 4, Research Methodology. This chapter explains how we collect data, who our respondents were, and what statistic method we used to analyze the data. So, this study we use a primary data and secondary data. The main use is a study to the primary data we collect directly from respondents through the structured online questionnaire using Google Form. So, this means the journal also were only used reference to develop the questionnaire, but the actual data we analyzed came from respondents' own responsibility. So, the questionnaire measures 5 of main construct, which is construct 1 is the sustainable factor, exposure syndrome, then environment intensity, environment knowledge depth, sustainable food choice. So, the simple term, our question was designed to measure both psychological factor and actual sustainable food behavior. 4.2 Data Analysis Technique. For the data, we use SPSS and the analysis was done in several steps. First, we starting the frequency analysis to describe respondent. After that, we use reliability analysis using convex alpha to test whether the questionnaire in the item was consistent. And third, we use descriptive analysis to load the general level to each construct. And fourth, we use correlation and regression analysis to test relation between variable and hypothesis. So overall they show the study use systematic method from data collection until hypothesis test. This is a frequency that I told you from the respondent. Next, I move to reliability and descriptive finding. Reliability analysis using convex alpha. Here, convex alpha was conducted to test whether the questionnaire item were consistent and reliable. So, from the first one, sustainable factor, that you can see actually have 9, but I removed the SF1 because the compact data deleted above than 0.963. So, after I delete, all overall is below than that. So, next, descriptive statistic, you can see. Next, descriptive statistic show the general level of each construct. Okay, next I explain the correlation analysis. The correlation analysis used to estimate the basic relation among the variables before the regression analysis. So, you have only correlation using by the construct, which is environment depth, to show that has a positive significance, which is 0.000. The correlation analysis show environment entity has clear and positive relation with both environment knowledge depth and sustainable food choice. Okay, then I move to the last one, regression analysis. For the model 1 here, which is a test from SF, IF and environment knowledge depth was certified significant. However, the three predictor explained that 33.6 of variance in EKD. For the second that, after that, regression model using the sustainable food choice. Okay, the model was also significant and predictor explained to 25.6 of the variance in SFC. Personal environment identity strength was significant with beta 0.498 and significant was P was 0.000 is also not significant. It's more than that. Okay, for the last but not least, also model 3 tests environment knowledge depth and on sustainable food choice. The result shows strong significance with the beta 0.649 and P 0.000. In simple word, that environment identity was strong predictor and environment knowledge depth also played an important role in explaining sustainable food choice. Okay, I move to the chapter 5, research finding. Here is chapter that we found the data. I will explain the 3 parts, which is the descriptive finding, reliability findings, and regression and hypothesis testing. So, the first step, we are descriptive finding, that we collect data, only 125 valid to respond using the SPSS. As we can see there, this is the graph. We move to reliability analysis. This analysis check whether the questionnaire are consistent and reliable. The results show the good reliability since all value is above 0.7, it means all constructs are reliable. The regression finding. Okay, regression finding from the model 1, using the SFIS-EI, predicting environment knowledge depth, the statistic was significant, and the result was showed 3 variables obtained 3.33.6 of the variable environment knowledge depth. From this hypothesis 1 is not supported, hypothesis 2 was not supported, and hypothesis 3 was supported. This made the environment know that mainly influence the environment identity not factor for exposure feeling. Okay, we continue to the model 2. Model 2, SFIF and EI predicting sustainable food. This model also statistic significant. So, 3 predictor, as you can see, 25.6, then the variables of variables in sustainable food choice. So, the model was hypothesis 4 is not supported, hypothesis 5 not supported, and hypothesis 6 was supported. And last but not least, EKD predicting sustainable food choice. This model shows the strong and positive relation. The effect was significantly positive, meaning the environment knowledge depth increased, sustainable food behavior also increased. So, hypothesis 7 was supported. In simple words, respondent was deeper environment knowledge, more likely make sustainable food choice. This is a final integration that you can see. Overall, the most important finding of this study, personal environment identity strength was strong predictor in significant influence, environment knowledge depth, and sustainable food choice. So in the conclusion, this study shows the building stronger environment identify the deeper environment knowledge is important in promoting sustainable food choice among generation Y and Z in Malaysia. That's all for my presentation in chapter 4 and 5. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. Now I will present section 6.1, which is the discussion of finding. This section discusses the main finding of our study based on the research objectives and hypothesis. Overall, the findings show that 2 main factors are important in influencing sustainable food choice behavior among generation Y and generation Z in Malaysia. These factors are personal environmental identity strength and environmental knowledge that firstly, the findings show that sustainability factors do not have a significant effect on environmental knowledge depth and sustainable food choice behavior. This means that even though some respondents may feel tired, confused, or overwhelmed by sustainability messages, it do not strongly reduce their environmental knowledge or their sustainable food choice. One possible reason is because many of the respondents are young students to environmental issues through education, social media, and awareness campaign. Because of the exposure, sustainability fatigue may not strongly affect their knowledge or behavior. Secondly, the findings also show that exposure syndrome in sustainability did not have a significant effect on environmental knowledge and sustainable food choice behavior. This means that feelings such as not being clean enough or doubting one's sustainability practice do not strongly influence the respondent knowledge or behavior. For example, even if a person feels unsure about whether they are doing enough for the environment, they may still practice simple sustainable food choice. This includes reducing food waste, avoiding excessive packaging, and buying local food.
Now I'm continue the discussion of finding. Based on our finding, people who see protecting the environment as part of who they are more likely to have better environmental knowledge and make a sustainable food choice. We also found that people with more environmental knowledge tend to choose food more responsible because they understand the impact of food production, packaging, and food waste. Overall, environmental identity and environmental knowledge are the main factors that influence sustainable food choice. Although sustainability figure and imposter syndromes were present, they did not strongly affect people's behavior. Therefore, we should focus on increasing environmental awareness and helping young people build a strong continue with the protection the environmental.
Hi, I'm Linda, and next I will explain the implications of this study. The finding shows that environmental identity and environmental knowledge are important factors that influence sustainable food choices, behavior among Generation Y and Generation Z. People who care about environment and see it as part of who they are more likely to choose sustainable food. Therefore, awareness campaigns should focus on helping people develop a stronger environmental identity, not only providing information. The study also found that people with more environmental knowledge are more likely to practice sustainable food consumption. This means school, college, and university should provide more environmental education and activity related to sustainable food practices. For policymakers and organizations, they can encourage actions such as reducing food waste, choosing local food products, and reducing packaging use. Overall, the study highlights that environmental identity and environmental knowledge are the key factors in encouraging sustainable food choices among young consumers in Malaysia.
Last part, conclusion. The study examined the factors that influence sustainable food choice behavior among Generation Y and Z consumer in Malaysia. The study focused on 4 factors: sustainability fatigue, imposter syndrome, personal environmental identity stand, and environmental knowledge depth. The findings showed that personal environmental identity was the strongest factor, influencing both environmental knowledge and sustainable food choice behavior. This means that individuals will see environmental responsibility as part of their identity and likely more to have a deeper environmental knowledge and make a sustainable food choice. In addition, environmental knowledge depth was found to significant positive effect on sustainable food choice behavior. However, sustainability fatigue and imposter system did not significantly influence the consumer sustainable food choice. These findings suggest that building a strong environmental identity and providing meaningful environmental education are more effective than simple increasing awareness through repeated sustainability campaigns. In conclusion, strengthening environmental identity and environmental knowledge is the extensional to encourage long-term sustainable food consumption among Malaysian Generation Y and Z consumers. That's all for me for the part conclusion. Thank you.